Jeff Zoller. I'm from upstate New York, and I've been wearing hearing aids for about 3 years. Well, I had gone to some audiologists. I just really didn't think I was a candidate. I was kind of faking it and guessing what people were saying, and it wasn't working. I got the Lexie hearing aids. Well, it's been night and day. Conversations at the family dinner table, watching a movie that I don't have to put on the subtitles for anymore. I get emotional sometimes because you really, if you're missing something and it comes back and you didn't think it was going to come back, that's a gift. And my kids are happier than I am that we were able to discover that again.
Hey, welcome in everybody. It's Saturday night and you're watching QVC 2. My name is Brett Hamilton. And let me just start by saying we all know a Jeff, and you might be Jeff. All right, that sounds awfully dramatic, but the reality of it is, as time goes on, our hearing is not as good as it used to be. And my right ear doesn't hear as well as my left ear. That's not what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about our dads, our grandparents, or maybe you're talking about yourself. Maybe you're talking about the fact that, sorry, while I just adjust this little earpiece here. Maybe you're talking about the fact that when you're in a conversation in a room, it's a noisy room, and you look around and you go, why is everybody able to hear that guy or that girl or the movie or the TV show or the song or whatever? And I'm just nodding. And I don't want to feel like I don't fit in. So I laugh at the joke. I didn't hear the joke. I don't know what the answer is. So what's the answer to that? In the past, it was to spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on hearing aids. But the problem was there was a stigma that went along with those. There was that big, bulky piece of stuff that sat on top of your ear, protruded from out of your ear, and it sent up the signal, they got a hearing aid, they're old, they can't hear. And you know what most people did? They said, you know what, I'm not willing to give in. I'm not willing to admit the fact that I can't hear as well as I used to. I don't want people to think that I'm not competent anymore, that I'm older or whatever. And then Bose came along and teamed up with Lexie, a hearing aid company, to create the number one over-the-counter hearing aid in the market right now. What are we talking about tonight? We're talking about the Lexie Bose B2, and you see the graphic on the side there, number one. Do not be fooled by the knockoffs that are out there in the market. And listen, I'm going to be brutally honest with you over the next hour because I've spent a lot of time with this product over the past couple of years, and I've spent a lot of time with the knockoffs, and I can tell you that they're night and day. When you see something that promises to give you better hearing and it's a couple $100, you know what it is? It's an amplifier. It just turns up the noise. Bose and Lexie have given you the ability to fine tune and refine your audio and make it sound like it should. This is our big deal. It's just shy of $700, $699. That's an incredible price. If you've seen this on the air before, you know that it's been much higher than that. You've got 5 easy pays. So for under $140, the opportunity to get these home and try them out, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming holiday return is about here. Yeah, so now you've got not just the rest of October, you've got all of November, December, and January to see if you can't hear better. And with all due respect to all the products that are on the air at QVC, how many of them are a necessity? And again, that's not meant as a derogatory comment. We all love our clothing and our beauty and our electronics and our candles and all that stuff, but do they change the way we live our life every day? The answer is no, they don't. It makes us feel better about ourselves. We enjoy them. We love gifting, and we should, right? We're entitled to that. But at the same time, every now and then a product comes along that actually changes how you can experience your day-to-day life. And I'm going to give you an example before I get into all the goodness that I have prepared for you over the next hour. My stepfather he's going to be 86 years old. We bought him traditional hearing aids. Oh man, this is like 8, 9 years ago. They were more than $5,000, and he used them for about 6 months, and he put them back in the drawer and he gave up. And we were like, we spent all this money. Why aren't you using those? He goes, because one, I don't know how to use them, and two, when I do have them on or whatever, it still just sounds louder. So this sounds like this, but it doesn't, meaning if it's muffled at this level and you turn up the volume in the hearing aid and it's still muffled, it's not doing you any good. Well, guess what? Bose created this technology I think we're looking at 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. And these are the first FDA cleared direct to consumer hearing aids. These were developed for adults 18 years and older with perceived mild to moderate, and I'll talk about what that means in a second, hearing impairment. And it's paired with this revolutionary Lexie Bose hearing app. So it's going to allow you guys to fit the program to control your B2 hearing aids powered by Bose for clinically proven audiologist quality customization. And listen to what I'm about to say. No doctor visit, no hearing test, no prescription. You're going to do this yourself. And if you don't think you can, in about 10 minutes, I'll show you how you can. And then you're going to be like, he wasn't kidding around. You're going to make the setting adjustments yourself in the real world without a hearing care professional. These were developed by scientists, audiologists, and engineers for Bose to create the first FDA-cleared direct consumer hearing aids. What does that mean? Speech that once sounded clear. Children's voices, softer voices, now easier to understand. And the same goes in a noisy environment. So do I need them? All right, look to the left. If you've got mild to moderate hearing loss or hearing impairment versus severe or profound, these are for you. How do you know if that's the case? Get them home and try them. The best barometer, the best way to check whether or not you feel like this is something you need. If you're in that crowded room that I was just talking about and you look over and you're like, everybody can understand that person, why can't I? Okay, that might be an indicator, but this is the best one. And I'm going to throw my stepfather and my dad under the bus on this one. Both of them keep cranking up the TV or kept cranking up the TV. I fixed the problem for both of them with Bose and Lexie hearing aids. So what does this mean? It means in the end that the stigma is gone. Because as I just mentioned earlier, growing up, and maybe we'll go back 2 or 3 years ago before these hearing aids became available, FDA cleared hearing aids, they were big and bulky and they were noticeable. And it was something that none of us wanted to, one, admit to, and none of us really wanted to have somebody else see. You know, there's that, oh man, I got to put my hearing aids on before I watch TV. That's not the big part because it's home at, you're in the privacy of your own home. You go to the grocery store, you go to the movie theater, whatever, like, there's the old guy. He's got his hearing aids on. What's up, Grandpa? No, no, no. There are younger people that need hearing aids as well. There are people in the military that have been around loud machinery and whatever environment, and it takes a toll on our hearing. And so many of us go, I'm just going to turn up the volume. I'm going to turn up the volume on the television. I'm going to ask the person speaking to me to speak louder, to yell almost to the point where it's like, okay, I get it. Now you're yelling at me. Why are you yelling at me? Because that's the only way you can hear me. And the other extreme is that a lot of people just check out. And we all know somebody in our family that does this number. Yeah, they politely nod and they smile in the family environment and stuff like that. And after a while you go, what's up with Uncle Bill? Like, why does he always look like, he's had a couple when he hasn't even had a drink? And I'm not trying to be funny. It's just like he's nodding and smiling because he doesn't want to admit that he can't hear, or she doesn't want to admit that she can't hear. What we're giving you tonight is the ability to be able to very discreetly change the way that you hear life, change the way that you hear your day to day, and do it in a way that has never been seen before when it comes to hearing aids. And what do I mean by that? Well, look at this video here. I'm going to show you this features video because there is so much technology packed inside these hearing aids that you're going to be like, wait a second. All right, let's start with the fact that there's no prescription. Let's start with the fact that you can now answer a phone call through your hearing aids and actually be able to understand the person on the other side. How many of you no longer talk on the phone because you can't hear anymore? All right, well, we're going to fix that problem. Rechargeable batteries, another problem solved. You don't have to buy batteries. Hearing aids, typically, you got to buy those little tiny batteries. Sizing options, done. Small, medium, large, they're going to fit any ear, no matter what size. One, medium in one, small in the other, and so forth. These directional microphones create the magic. They find and refine the audio around you to make it sound the way that it should, so that you don't have to do the work. I'll show you on the app in a second what this is, but this everywhere versus front mode is James Bond type technology. You're in a crowded restaurant. I don't want to hear the table next to me. I don't want to hear the kitchen behind me. I just want to hear what's going on the table that I'm sitting at. Guess what? You can do that. You can adjust the volume. You can adjust the treble and bass. You can save these settings so that you don't have to keep going back and adjusting the app. And I'm going to get to the app in a second. I feel like I'm showing you the magic trick, and then I'm going to show you how we did the magic trick. And the best way to do that is this simulation video that I'm about to show you. All right. I can sit and talk about this for the next hour, and I can tell you everything that I've experienced, that my dad has experienced, that my stepfather has experienced. But you guys are not going to truly get a feel for what these devices are capable of doing until you get them home. In the meantime, Lexie and Bose have come up with this, what they call this little simulation, this like day and night, A versus B video with some very common scenarios. Think about watching TV. Do I have to keep turning up the volume? Think about the crowded restaurant. I can't hear anything in front of me because there's so much noise around me. Think about just taking a walk with your dog and you go, man, I wish I had like a treble control in my brain. I wish I had a little volume control in my forehead. Guess what? You do now. Watch this video and see the difference between the way your world sounds now and the way that it could sound thanks to Lexie and Bose. Watch this.
Ale from one of our local brewers. It's very crisp, citrusy, if that's what you're into. And tonight's soup is butternut squash, and that comes with a wood-grilled crostini with eggplant on the side. It's very popular. Also on the menu tonight are spicy chicken wings with a blue cheese sauce, and these will both pair nicely with that pale ale I mentioned. So what can I get for you?
At the end of their long journey, our colony of penguin chicks have reached the ocean. They peer over the edge, waiting for the right moment, anticipating the dangers that await. Until finally, one of them jumps, which inspires the others to follow, a clumsy cascade of juvenile penguins falling into the sea.
There you go. And keep in mind the fact that you're watching. It's always funny when I show a Bose speaker or a sound bar on the air. I'm always like, we're trying to solve the problem that you're experiencing right now. You're listening through your TV speakers. So as much as you could tell that there was a difference between no Lexie Bose versus Lexie and Bose, it's not an on-off situation, which is what most hearing aids do, is what the knockoffs do. It's what the again, I mean this respectfully, what the inferior brands that are passing off this technology as what Bose and Lexie have done. It's just not possible. If you see something out on the market for a couple $100s, it doesn't do what I'm about to show you. It doesn't recreate, refine, and make the sound like it should. And why is that possible? And why is that the situation? Well, because you can't do it for $200. There's a lot of time, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of science and technology behind what I'm about to show you. So you guys heard kind of like, this is my world now, and then Bose and Lexie jump in and try to refine that. How do we do it? All right, let's go close to my iPad for a second. When you get in your car, what's the first thing you do? Well, other than turn the car on, you turn the volume up, right? You turn the volume up and you get the music to the way that you want it to sound. And once it's at a comfortable level, then you can mess with everything else, treble, bass, balance, and all that stuff. But I think what's really interesting about this is that this 28 is a comfortable level with the help of Bose and Lexie. Not, I had to, normally without it, if you had a volume control in your head and you couldn't make it better, maybe you're up here. Maybe you're like, oh man, I gotta crank that up to make it sound better. No, it's not gonna sound any better. It's just gonna be louder. The good news is when the Bose technology kicks in, it cleans up that sound and you don't have to make it as loud. All right, once we find a comfortable level and you can hear the environment, now we start to mess with the treble and the bass. If the world is muddy and it sounds like this, you need some high end, you need some treble. There you go. But if it's the other way around and it's tinty, put some bottom end, put some bass. And this is a preference thing. There's no right or wrong here. Some of you need a little bit more, some of you need a little bit less. Okay, let's jump over to the other thing that I just mentioned, the balance. A lot of you don't realize this. Your hearing in one ear may not be the same exact strength as it is in the other. My right ear, and I don't know why, is not as strong as my left ear. I can fix that problem. I just basically shifted the balance so that now my right ear and my left ear are the same. You can't do that in the real world, right? You go out and if you turn one way or you turn the other, and your stronger ear or your more dominant ear is facing the wrong direction, you may not hear the conversation. Okay, once we've done that, now we get into the James Bond stuff that I mentioned in the video before. By the way, it will not look purple like this. For some reason, my camera is just throwing a pink hue on everything. Nobody cares. I'm just That's just my OCD kicking in.